how to get into tarot if you are a beginner. So when I was young, I was very interested in the tarot after I saw people do online readings with the cards on a forum that I was on. So I purchased myself like a beginner's guide to tarot, a box that included a guidebook and the cards. And I don't have any like intuitive or psychic abilities, but I was very interested and I really wanted to get into it. So I started reading the guidebook and then maybe pulling out a few cards. And I just kind of felt like I wasn't able to connect with the tarot deck the way I had hoped. Like I wasn't able to find any intuitive meanings from the cards. Like they just didn't speak to me, basically. And I forgot the whole thing for several years, and I just wasn't really like, didn't feel like getting into it anymore because I felt like, well, I'm just not an intuitive or a psychic, and I do not get any visions when I pull a card to my questions. So I just really forgot about the whole thing. And these are the cards that I was using. I don't know who the artist was, but they are like the traditional Rider-Waite cards, not by Pamela Coleman-Smith. Yeah, so I left these in the back of my closet for several years. And then a few years ago, I saw the Wild Unknown tarot deck online, and I was drawn to that deck simply because of the art in the deck. I just find that it was very interesting, seemed very mystical and extremely beautiful. So I just had to get a version of it for myself. So I got the pocket edition. This is my Wild Unknown Pocket Tarot deck and guidebook. And this is the deck. So I started using this deck just for the fun of it. Like I just wanted to look at the cards because I find that they were such beautiful artwork that I just wish that I was a tarot reader, or I knew something about the tarot and I was able to interpret the cards and I knew the meanings of the cards. And I thought that you would like you would have to have psychic abilities for that, to be able to interpret them. So I just started using this deck so that I shuffle the cards whenever I wanted, and I picked out a card for the day. And I had a lot of fun with it for a while, and I often looked at the description of the card in the guidebook. And after a while, after I had used these just for fun, I noticed that the cards kind of answer my questions that I'm able to reflect upon, and the message is very clear. So what I had been doing, what I didn't know I was supposed to do, I was connecting with the cards. I was imprinting them with my energy and creating an energetic bubble in where the cards act sort of like an extension of my energy. And so that's when I really realized that how energy works. You imprint the deck by feeling it, shuffling it, and warming it up in your hands and using it just for the fun of it, like so that you become familiar with it and it feels like it's your own and it's not like straight from the package or anything. So you don't have to be an intuitive necessarily. You have to know what you're feeling or what you're asking, and when you use the deck, it sort of like works as an extension of your energy. And when you pull a card, the message is like it feels familiar or it makes sense. So I used this deck for a while, and once I noticed that it kind of started to speak to me, I felt like this deck is a bit too like mysterious or mystical or abstract in order for me to understand what the cards are saying just by looking at the pictures. The guidebook helped quite a lot, but at that point I became interested in using the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And I got a couple of decks. I was very, very interested in the Modern Witch deck, which I got for myself from Amazon. And so I wish this had been my default deck. I was going to use this as a daily deck after I purchased it. But the deck is very thick. Like I had a trouble just like shuffling it and holding it in my hands because it is so large and so thick. The pocket edition of the Wild Unknown Tarot was much easier. Like this was perfect to handle size-wise, and the cardstock is just fantastic. These are like matte cards. This is perfect cardstock. But these cards, they're glossy and they flow in quite easily. But I struggle with shuffling this deck. I wish this had been my default deck because of the artwork. I just love the artwork in this deck. I do pull it out occasionally, but not as often. So the next deck I got was the Centennial deck Borderless Edition. Now I've been using this deck for maybe over a month, and it's starting to show quite a lot of wear. I had 3 cards that opened from the corners, like this card, and I glued it back in, and it definitely holds, like you can use these cards, but it's just not as pretty. And I didn't know that these cards would wear out or show wear so fast, but I've been shuffling these so much, and the cardstock in these cards is just like absolutely perfect. It feels like buttery and smooth, and it just flows really nicely in your hands when you're shuffling it. So this became my daily deck that I use. I pull out cards daily, and I originally got this deck because I just wanted to have the original Rider-Waite-Smith images or cards, and I definitely wanted the vintage version because these cards are just incredibly beautiful. The colors are great. I didn't want the version that comes in a yellow box. I saw it in a shop somewhere, and I really was not drawn to it. So how you get into tarot is getting a deck that feels great in your hands. It has images that you find very interesting, so that you want to hold the deck in your hands and you want to shuffle it and you want to see what card you're picking out next. And usually what you're doing, if you do that, you take the deck out several times, maybe during the week or during the day, and you shuffle it and you feel the cards, you warm them up in your hands, and when you pull out a card, it reflects back to you, your energy. And usually when you do that, if you've done that, the message should be very clear. So once I started using this deck, it's ridiculous as to how often I get certain messages from this deck. At the moment, I'm pulling out a lot of the wands. I usually get the 3 of wands. Sometimes it's the 2 of wands. I've also gotten the ace of wands and the page of wands. And of course, I do get other cards, but the wands have a certain message apparently for me at the moment. Usually it's the 3 of wands. It's funny how often that card appears when I pull out a daily card or a card for my current situation or a card for work. And definitely, if I think about it, the 3 of wands represents my current life situation. I'm planning on moving back to my hometown, and I have to find a new job, a new apartment, and I have to move my location. And I'm currently at the waiting stage, planning things and planning what I would do when I move there and what new adventures I want to take on. So it's like a no-brainer as to why the 3 of wands would appear so often. And I don't even have to pull out a card always, because I know that I've gotten the 3 of wands so many times that I can just keep that in my mind and ponder about my situation. I don't even have to pull out a card for that. So that's how you get into tarot. Get a deck that feels like something that you want to hold in your hands, and you're very intrigued by it. Now I got the Queen of Wands. And there's something in the images that speaks to you. Get a deck that has artwork that you find fascinating. To me, the Modern Witch Tarot deck would have been that. I love the artwork in that. I just didn't, once I got this, I didn't feel like holding that deck in my hands or shuffling that deck as often as I do with this. And I don't I don't use the Wild Unknown deck at the moment at all, because I prefer the Pamela Colman Smith or the Rider-Waite Smith symbolism in images. But I did get the J.K. Waite Tarot reprint from Tarot Collectibles. This is the 1989 revised edition, just arrived a week ago. And I was hoping that since my Centennial deck shows so much wear, that I would find a few other decks to use, because I use these cards daily and many times a day often. So I got this deck, and because I love the colors in this deck. This is a true retro deck from the 70s, and it's the 1989 revised edition, which has the exact same images, just color corrections. And I'm very, very happy with it, with this deck. This is like the original. If you get the original JK Tarot, it costs, you would pay hundreds for that, and it's a collector's item. This is a reprint, like a new production with the exact same images. But I really wanted to get this deck so that I can use it. I don't want a collector's item to keep, but I really I want to actually be able to use it. So I got this deck, and when you get a new deck fresh from the box, what you would need to do before you start reading with the deck is you would clear the deck. So what I did, I when I opened the box and took it out, I shuffled it and pulled out a few cards. I didn't really resonate with the messages I was getting. It was like, then I knew already what energy work means, what you need to do with the deck energetically. So, and funnily, when I got this deck, it was slightly bent backwards, like the whole deck was just slightly curved. So I took out each card individually and just pulled them straight. And I used incense to clear the deck as well. And I had to pull them straight twice. And I think the deck is like, it's straight now, completely straight, and it shuffles really easily. So that's not a problem when you get a new deck. You can feel that it's a bit stuck, and especially this deck felt like the cards are a bit stuck. They stick together. It's difficult to shuffle because there was a slight curve. I don't know where the curve came from. The box in itself was completely straight and it was sealed, and it was in a like a bubble wrap. I don't know, but it wasn't a problem. You can definitely fix it by just like pulling the cards. So I did that. I cleared the deck and then I took time to shuffle the deck. I usually just like shuffle slowly like this. I'm very clumsy at shuffling. I cannot do like an overhand very easily. I cannot do a bridge or anything like that. I just do this and take my time. And once I did that like the clearing, and then I took time to shuffle it. And then I pulled out the first card, and it was the Three of Wands. So then I knew at that moment that I had connected with the deck. It feels familiar. The newness and the freshness that it has when it comes straight out of the box was gone, and that's important. It needs to be that way. So you need the deck to feel like it's almost a bit too familiar. Like you could shuffle it in your sleep and you know how the deck flows in your hands. So yeah, that's very important, because you will not be able to read tarot cards if you just keep it in a closet or a box somewhere and just occasionally take it out. The cards need to have, like, they need to be warmed up with your energy, and they need to be clear of any other energies when you start using the deck. So, like, I'm clumsy like this. I cannot shuffle. It's easier when I'm sitting on a sofa or somewhere where, like, I can lean back. Now I'm leaning forwards. It's very difficult. But yeah, this is my second favorite deck. This is a very good daily deck. It shuffles really easily for someone who can shuffle, and flows really easily. The cards are very good quality. Really nice finish on these cards. I do prefer slightly the Centennial a bit more, but this is a very interesting deck color-wise. So let's just pull out a card. Like that. Ooh, it's the Four of Cups. Oh, I love the red backgrounds in these cards. This is like genuine 70s with the reds and the oranges. Oh, I love the Knight of Wands. I love the orange background and the red background. You really don't get that very often. It's very 70s. The Two of Wands and the Three of Wands have interestingly blue backgrounds. So in the original Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it's a yellow background, or like a yellow sky that signifies maybe sunrise or sunset and optimism. So you get a bit variation when you use different decks. The colors in one deck can symbolize a bit different things than in another deck. And yeah, I love that the pentacles are black. And I love some of the cards here, like the Hermit card. Such beautiful line work, such beautiful colors. I love the Wheel of Fortune. That's nice. I have to love the red backgrounds. And also, I think I had a few other favorite cards. The World card with the orange background, insanely beautiful. So I'm really happy to be able to get something like this and have it in daily use. That's very exciting, and it definitely advances your tarot practice to have a deck that you find is very interesting and fascinating. That definitely is a big factor. So yeah, I have another deck that arrived today. It's the Desert Illuminations Tarot. I was very interested in this deck because of the artwork. This is not that traditional. It kind of follows along the lines with the traditional Rider-Waite deck, but the imagery is unique. So I'm looking forward to opening this today, and I'm definitely going to be getting a few other decks from Tarot Collectibles. They have those groovy, like the hippie decks, the Groovy-Waite and the Trippin-Waite. Definitely, it's a must-have for me. I would love to use that in the summer and listen to hippie music at the same time, maybe. And I also think that this deck, the JK Tarot in itself, in a way, is also a kind of groovy deck because it's from the 70s and it has really like strong and different color choices. The Page of Wands. Yeah, that's how you really get into tarot. And these are some of my current favorite cards. I'm definitely getting more decks in the future. I don't know, maybe I'll make a few videos as well. So thank you.